Hello and welcome to Simuldub Saints, your guide to seasonal anime dubs. I'm your host, Laserkid, and with me as always is my trusty co-host.
Hello, I am Archangel, lover of cat girls.
You've been listening to our theme song, Wherever I Go, from friend of the podcast, Ampren. Please check out their awesome music, link in the description.
And this episode, I really am out of ideas, because we are shouting out a channel on YouTube that needs absolutely no fucking introduction if you have any interest in history. Drachinifel. More about him at the end.
Does that mean I have no interest in history?
Naval history at least. That should be more specific.
I've never heard of him, but I know that you listen to him because you told me, but...
Do you like boats?
Boats?
Then you should check out his vast backlog of stuff.
Anyway, hello everyone. Probably more people than usual. We noticed you guys watched that last episode. Thank you. Anyone that's been watching us, thank you for staying with us. Newcomers, thank you for checking us out. We appreciate the views. I don't know why YouTube wanted to recommend that video so much, but I know we got at least one new subscriber. Welcome. Thank you for listening to us.
My apologies on your recent apparent cranial injury, but, you know.
Oh, no.
We're here to soothe. I'm teasing.
I know you are. But I appreciate that, and I hope we continue to keep things going for you guys. This will be the last one out for a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm going to be dealing with some family situations. I'm going to be an uncle. Let's just put it that way. I'm about to be an uncle, and family needs, and I won't be able to access a computer that can edit. So normally we'd have Ark do some editing while I'm away from home, but he's very busy with work right now.
Yes, work and life.
So we can't promise a regular episode, understandably. We can't say that we'll get a regular episode out in the next week or two. For the next week or two, we might get some extra prayers, bonus content, short form content, just to give you something. Can't promise you we will, but we're going to see what we can do just to keep up the momentum going, but there won't be any regular episodes for the next 2 weeks. After that, I should be back home and back at cracking it. As far as the holidays are concerned, because we are getting into that time of the year, by the time I am back, we should definitely have an episode even around Thanksgiving. And if it's anything like last year, we'll have something special around Christmas. I have some ideas. We'll see how we do. But might just reprise the same thing we did last year. Oh.
Indeed.
But that's it for our hi, thank you, and here's what's coming up stuff. So now it's what's in the news. Well, live action One Piece is in the news because the live action One Piece season 2 has given us a nice little poster and a release date of March 10th, 2026. All right, we're going to Logtown, everybody. And it looks like also the land formerly known as Drum Kingdom, the kingdom without a name. A very fun arc. The first storyline, once they hit on the Grand Line, it is a fun time. And you're going to get to meet my personal favorite One Piece character, Nefertari Vivi. Very excited to see her done in real life. And it's time to get the flashlights ready. Get out the spooky season, because Dark Gathering Season 2 is coming out. And I've only got one thing to say about that. I think, Ark, you got the same thing to say, right?
Yep.
Let's go! And I really hope High Dive dubs this season as well. Totally not something we normally would watch.
Honestly, if they don't, I'll take the excuse to not be traumatized again. But if they do redub it, I have no excuse. God help me.
We got ourselves into the show not knowing how dark it was gonna get. It is not kidding.
No,
but now we're hooked.
This is balls out horror. Be ye warned. It's very good horror, but if you're like me and horror just isn't your thing, don't.
It's neither of our thing, which is the crazy part. But the storytelling is masterclass, and we're invested now. God damn it. Yeah. Help us all.
No, it has literally given me nightmares and not in a fun way.
Me too.
Yeah, but Yayoi continues to be cute. So
Yayoi is great. And you know, if you're gonna get nightmares, at least she'll be there to save you. Maybe.
Yes. No, they weren't that bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's coming back. And that's all we got for news. But I got a bit of a thing to talk about because we're a little late because of Halloween. My Halloween party kind of pushed everything out a week. Or not a week, but a day. We watched anime late when we normally would have been recording. So now we're recording a little late. Hopefully we'll still get this episode out on time, but if we're not, that's why. If we're a day late, that's totally why. But I just got back from watching the Chainsaw Man Reze Arc movie. And yeah, they nailed it. It was a great storyline in the manga, which I've already read and talked about at length on the Dumb Weebs podcast. If you want to dig that old fun podcast up that I did with V-Lord and J-Mac and Ampren and that crew. But the movie fantastically adapts it. It's been a minute since I'd seen it, so I've forgotten certain aspects. I remember the basic flow through line, but I've forgotten some of the things. They really pull on the emotional strings on this one. And they also deliver some amazing action sequences, which I'd expect no less from Studio MAPPA at this point. But this is exactly what you want for more Chainsaw Man. I really, really hope this does incredible for Studio MAPPA. I know they had trouble with the show because they did it all on their own without like a whole team behind them. Even though it did really well, it didn't do well enough to be just from them. I hope this justifies it because I want more Chainsaw Man adaptation, especially from Studio MAPPA. They do it great justice. The dub is on point as always. Yeah, good times. And there's a Russian.
Tovarich.
I told Archangel he has to go watch it because there's a Russian.
Just because I play one in Space Station 14, and I mean...
That is not the only reason.
I told you, if you think I've got a hard-on for killing Russians for whatever reason, no, I'll kill anyone. You know?
No, you enjoy talking.
I'm not racist. Oh, yeah, well, in text. But again, that's muscle memory from being Zek in Space Station 14.
That's not the only thing. You were doing it before you were playing that game.
I think you are thinking of my German accent. My Russian accent is for Shueisha. But this one is okay.
Okay.
And my apologies to anyone who's actually German. I know it's terrible, but it's good
I have
enough.
a good chunk of me that is, but not enough to care.
Right. I mean, like, nationally German with an actual accent. I'm sure that sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
We'll have to ask Elle if they're listening.
Yeah. It's like, you know how sometimes Brits or Aussies or whatever will do what they think is an American accent and they sound like they're from fucking Texas or something.
Yeah!
Well, the thing is, I know a lot of people from Texas and none of them talk like that.
No.
I know there's a lot of Texans who do, but it's like, for God's sake, people.
Yeah. All right. Well, that all aside, I guess we're here to talk about some rock and roll. Because rock is a lady's modesty is today's topic. And before we get into any major story, I don't know how much story we can really get into with this one, because this is another one of those where you really just have to experience it. The rough concept, if you will. Lilisa Suzunomiya, voiced by the legendary Lucy Christian, that's Yunio and Zenshu, Uravity / Okachao Uraraka and Hero Academia, Nami in One Piece, Hilling in Ranking of Kings, and so on, so on. One of my favorite voice actresses. Lilisa is part of a new family. Her mother married up into a rich family. This was an Omiya family, and she's had to put away her love for rock and roll. She had a love for rock and roll with her family before. She had to give up her guitar, take on lessons for a violin, which she's terrible at, try to play the prim and proper lady to try and make her mother happy. But her love for rock endures and is reignited by a chance encounter with another lady at the school she's going to. And yes, I imagine you would like to talk about this lady.
All right, so that would be young Miss Otaha Kurogane, another very, very well-known family, voiced by the legendary Natalie Rial, also known as Kana Arima in Oshinoko or Nazuna Nanakusa in Call of the Night.
Indeed,
And
the leading lady thereof.
yeah, and we should really mention that Lilisa is very good at putting up the whole princess act. She is a masterful bullshitter to warm my heart. And it doesn't hurt. Yeah, it doesn't hurt that she is gorgeous and genuinely a nice person. And the girls at the school have decided that she is awesome. You know how it is with people. If they decide you're awesome, you could do no wrong unless you really try. And if they decide you suck, then there is nothing you could do to change their mind. And thankfully for her, she has been accepted by these. And this is like a really, really prestigious girls' school, meant to apparently turn out polished young ladies. In fact, there's what was the exact term for the award? But there's like, you know, the most ladiest lady in every.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but there's like an award for like the most ladylike lady in the graduating class, and her Lisa's goal for her mother's sake is to win that and prove that they belong in the Suzunomiya clan.
Her whole thing, she wants to make her mother proud.
Right.
And, you know, because her mom is, you know, just married into this family. She doesn't really know.
I know you have a lot to say about the mom, so why don't you do that?
Well, before we go into the mom, we should probably actually talk about Otoha, because we just said her voice action and we left that one
but I think we should probably dispense with the Suzunomiya family and then deal with Miss Kurogane, because otherwise we'll be bouncing all over the place.
That's fair. Do you mind if I just do a quick description of both and then go into my rant?
Yeah, I have a bit to say about Alice. I have Mom,
I have a lot to say about
beneath. Yeah, she is beneath my notice, so you go right ahead.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll do Mom, you do, and then just go at it, and you do Sister, and then go at it. So,
sounds good.
Mom is Yuka Suzunomiya, voiced by Genevieve Simmons, and I gotta say, goddamn, Genevieve, you nailed this character. She is exactly who she needs to be. That's Mien Hayakawa in Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, and Kana Ichikawa in The Dangers in My Heart. Yuka, oh god. At first, she seems like a nice mom. Okay, yeah, I can see why Lilisa loves her, and I think I know where Lilisa gets her bullshitting from, because Mom is bullshitting. Because Mom is laying it on real thick with the emotional abuse of, oh, you wouldn't let me down, would you? Oh, we've always been here. Very covert, narcissistically controlling Lisa, pushing her in directions that honestly Lisa doesn't really want to be in, but because she's trying to be the good daughter, she's doing her damnedest to do, but it's not who she is, and Mom doesn't care. Mom needs her to be the square in the round hole because Mom needs the round hole. This is incredibly toxic parenting. Well worth me dusting this off. It's been a minute. She has earned the Parent of the Year award from the Gendo Ikari School of Parenting.
Yeah, and I have nothing to add to that.
I hate her.
Yep.
I reserve my hatred of characters in anime for those that truly, truly earn it, believe it or not. I don't say I hate characters very often in this show. Occasionally, it happens. This is one of the ones I hate the most. She is a horrible human being.
Certainly a horrible
This is
mother.
her own yeah, well, that's what makes her a horrible human being. This is her own daughter. If she treats her own daughter this way, imagine if she treats anyone else.
Well, I imagine that's how she got such a husband.
I imagine you're right. Well, I believe that leads on to the a newly adoptive sister. They are half sisters, not even really because they're not related by
No,
blood.
they're stepsisters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stepsisters is right.
so it's totally okay for them to fall in love. Not, it's
God.
not that
Yeah,
sort of show. Despite how certain people talk, as we'll get into, it is not that sort of show. Much to my
no.
disappointment.
So Yuka is the mother of Lilisa, and their father is actually Alice's biological father. But
Yep.
other than the fact that those two are married, they don't have a connection.
Right. So, Alice presumably is mourning her mother. I think she died, but we don't really
It's
know.
unclear.
She might have been more receptive if her mom had walked out or something, is all I know. But anyway, as far as she was concerned, it was her and daddy, and then all of a sudden, this bitch and her daughter come busting in and break up their family. And I give her credit; she has Yuka's number. It's not, this is a fairly normal reaction in such circumstances.
You should
But
probably give the name and the voice actress.
oh yes, okay. So
You
yes,
did not.
Alice Suzunomiya, voiced by Christina Kelly, also known as Alpha in Eminence in Shadow, and Michiko Tendo in Chainsaw Man. So
Let's
very good
see.
voice actors. Mhm.
Yes, there's quite a bit of Eminence in Shadow voice actresses in here, which is kind of
It's a Red
great.
Dive show.
Yes,
And
that's
that
fair.
has such a big Eminence in Shadow has such a big cast that
It does, but I mean,
throw a rock.
we'll get into there. But we got Alpha and Beta in here.
Yep. Yeah, we probably get the whole stable in here. But anyway, so yeah, Alice absolutely has Yuka's number. The problem is that at least from my outside point of view, is that she assumes that Lilisa is the same way because she's never actually bothered to talk to her, which I understand, but is kind of tragic.
I can't even blame her in retrospect because Lisa's putting on the good girl act. Even if she did, and with a few, they had a couple
Right,
of
but
minor
she's
interactions.
never been the least bit antagonistic to Alice.
No,
fake
but
certainly, but not.
And that's what Alice
so.
is picking up on.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's about it. So we'll leave Alice there for now. We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll leave Alice there for now.
Her.
We'll definitely get back to her. But I think the antagonism between them, the two, her and her now stepsister, is 100% on Lisa being fake, which she is doing to please her mom, and Alice doesn't know that.
Yep. So yeah,
And
Alice.
how could she?
Yeah, as much as I do think she needs to loosen up a little bit, like a lot of people do, probably I do. But her reaction is perfectly justified insofar as it goes.
So that brings us back to Atoha, who is Otona Kuragane is a very, very well regarded student, as we mentioned. And of course, she bumps into Lilisa. She's looking for something.
Yep.
And she can't quite find it.
Lilisa had just randomly found a guitar pick with a cute logo on it, and she held on to it. Yeah, she held on to it because, it's kind of precious to her as a reminder of happier times. And also just, she knows what it is, so she doesn't regard it as trash. But she can't imagine that it's what Miss Kurogane is looking for, so she doesn't say anything.
Yeah, so what's interesting is we've seen Lilisa practice the violin, and she's terrible at it. But we've also seen she loved guitar and was great at it. So she's got this connection to this thing. But yeah, what would any of these people have with a guitar pick? What the heck? It is the most metal of guitar picks.
Yeah, very gentle and soft-spoken. And she's in the same class, I think, and I may be regarded as one of, although not antagonistic in any way, she's may fairly be regarded as one of Lilisa's top rivals for that Lady Award thing in her class year. So,
yep, down in the Ocean Girls Academy.
Yep.
No, I didn't pull up Wikipedia. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I do like their uniforms, though. These white, old school uniforms, they're very beautiful.
Oh, yeah, no, they're very pretty. So
yeah.
They eventually meet again, because there's some strange noises coming from the old school building. Some banging noises that Lisa investigates. Oh, look, Atoha's rocking out on a guitar, not on guitar, on drums.
Yeah. And when she finds that she's being espied, she asks Lisa to join her.
Indeed, and she then realizes, because Lisa offers it, oh, you found my guitar pick. Oh, look at your hands. Those are the calluses of a guitar player. Let's have a rock battle right here. My drums against your guitar.
What I love about Atoha more than anything is whenever she asks somebody to play with her or talks about this, she makes it sound like something out of a really lurid Yuri novel. It's amazing.
Oh my god. Otoha is fantastic because she comes across initially as, oh, I'm very sweet, and then it's just like personality.
She's bonkers. She really is bonkers.
She is in the most glorious of ways. She'll just go, the switch gets flipped, just like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your balls. Oh my.
Yeah, no, she is a rocker through and through. She's insane. Like at the end of their first jam session, she literally flips Lisa off, tells her she sucks. And leaves.
Laughs about it and leaves.
Yeah, which, I mean, if you want to get Lisa to go serious, that's one way to do it, but that doesn't work on everyone, as we'll discuss.
No. But it does work on Lisa, who absolutely takes that as the gauntlet that it is.
Yeah, and she's all pissed off. She's like, I haven't touched a guitar in how many years? Fuck you.
But she keeps going, and they keep playing. And
we should mention at this point that we're pretty sure they rotoscoped actual musicians for the music sequences. Yeah. Either that or it's an obsessive level of animation.
The animation on the finger movements.
Correct.
Yes,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's completely correct.
I'm pretty sure you're correct about that, and also it's incredibly detailed. It looks like rotoscoping to me. Just looking at it, like I've seen rotoscoping before. And
to manually animate this would take an insane amount of money. Why bother?
I mean, they would
rotoscoping is just as good. Right.
That's what rotoscoping is great for. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, why would you do it the hard way when this produces an amazing result?
So yeah, they go ham. They have repeated sessions until they decide they're going to go public. And they team up with this other orchestral group to do a public exhibition.
Right. So they decide they're going to do an instrumental rock band.
Yep.
And so the thing with this orchestral thing is they're like, okay, we need some practice playing in public, playing together. Is there anybody looking for fill-ins or whatever? And they find this very nice group of people.
But they immediately dominate in their usage of music. They push the tempo real fast. They push the band to keep up. Initially struggle to do so, but they do. But wouldn't you know it? There's an interesting person in the audience. A person who has just happened to be invited to go there by a new friend.
I think she was actually helping out, volunteering at this
festival. No, she was not.
Really? Okay.
Alice made a new friend. I don't remember who it was, and that friend invited, said, "Hey, you should come check this out with me."
Okay,
and so she remember who that was, but I don't.
Yeah, not really relevant for this overview, but yeah. But she finally sees who Elisa really is, and she thinks she's cool. Yeah, it's like, wow, you're cool. I mean, she doesn't put it quite that way, but you know,
she's very shocked. Elisa eventually sees her, starts to figure out, and Alice is like, "Whoa, that's just blown away." It's like, it'll be our secret. There they got a little bond going. This is where Alice gets really interesting. Because after this, she immediately goes out and asks Yuka, "Hey, what was Elisa like before you were here?" And Yuka gets the crazy eyes, the dead, like, no detail eyes. There was no before. She was always like this. Which just goes to show she sees Lisa as an instrument of her own, not as an individual. And it is that is when I became 100% certain that Yuka is just not a good person. But oh my god, Alice is even taking it back with like, oh jeez. But this rock concert got noticed by a few other people as well. Some fellow students, each in their own way, reaching out to the others because they'd like to join.
And they could not be more
What
different.
They are literally the exact opposite of each other. You know what? I'm going to take the first one because it's probably more my style, and I'll let you do it because that's probably more your style.
Sure.
So the first one is the blue-haired Tina Isemi, voiced by Carly Hawk. That's Hinako Tondabayashi, and from Bureaucrat to Villainous. Dad's been reincarnated, and Hasilla in Ragna Crimson. And Tina is this very timid girl who wants to find herself in music. And hearing them go at it, she wants to do the same. And her choice is the keyboard. She wants to play the electric keyboard to go at it, but she has no musical experience whatsoever. She is as noob gets. She's rough. She's not doing great. But immediately, Lisa takes her under her wing and tries to train her as much as she can. And Tina does improve at quite a rapid rate, but she's still coming from total amateur. She's got a lot of ways to go before she can grow and really jam out with them. And she is trying so hard to be just what they want her to be. And we'll touch on that in a minute because I think now...
most people don't realize how shy she is, we should say. She is the school's prince, this elegant role, almost masculine in a beautiful boy sort of way, role that she has perfected to fit in. And she's basically one of these people who has gone through life being what others expect or want her to be, and she doesn't want to do that anymore, and it's not good for her. She literally has this tiny little stuffed animal that she talks to when she's alone for reassurance. She's not in a good place.
No, and that's a good comment. I've forgotten she does that, and it's painful to watch.
All the hugs. And so she's saying, I'll be the musician you want me to be. And so my comment
we'll get to that in a minute. I was trying to skip to you to not talk about this yet because there's a reason why I should talk about that after we talk about the next character.
Yes. Tamaki Shiraya, voiced by Annie Wilde. Beta in Eminence and Shadow, Menu in The Executioner and Her Way of Life.
And that's the leading lady in that.
Indeed, just knock it out of the park yet again. So this is I find her entertaining, but if I met her, I'd probably deck her.
Same.
To teach her some manners.
She ain't got any. She fits in great in the band for that.
Right. Well, there's telling it like it is, and then there's being a dick. And so she's honestly kind of crazy in her own way. We don't know why yet at this point, but we don't know any backstory for her. But she is where Tina is the noob, like literal noob. Tamaki is at the peak of her musical game, and she is a guitarist who is so good that she's been bouncing from band to band. They've been kind of begging her because she wants to play with Otoha for some reason.
Otoha's been telling her you're not good enough for quite a while. Although now she's like, oh, you've improved.
Yeah, and she has. Apparently, she's very, very good, and she's got a chip on her shoulder that would fit into the Grand Canyon. And so she's just she wants to play with Otoha. Anyone else is just an obstacle. So she's telling Otoha, ditch Lisa. She doesn't even consider Tina worthy of comment. And so Otoha's condition is, we'll and the long story, but they get into a 2-week deadline to a battle of the bands against, among other things, the band that Tamaki ditched to go with Otoha, who are less than pleased because she's basically just dicked them over. And I mean, on the one hand, I kind of understand an element of where Tamaki's coming from in the whole, who cares about financial success? It's all about the music. So she is like a pure artist in that sense. But on the other hand, you got to find some balance. Certainly if you get involved with other people.
Well, what's interesting is Tamaki is at once going back and forth with Lisa. It is described visually even as freezing her out, but she's also hypercritical of Tina, and we got that whole thing going on. And this has yet to be resolved. We're on episode 7. 8's coming out next week. We didn't want to wait till it finished, though, because this one is not a show to sleep on.
No.
Also, we could probably, even if we did resolve it, we've described how these characters meet each other, but that's not the plot and it's not the experience. There is no replacement for this experience. This is one of those where you feel the show when you go through it. In a lot of ways, like Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, in terms of, I could tell you the story of Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, but that's not the experience of watching Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night.
No, it's very much a high dive show in that regard. And to be
this is why High Dive is worth it, despite the bad UI. The shows that they get are the shows that Crunchyroll would normally pass on. Some of it is garbage. Some of it is absolute garbage. Not that Crunchyroll doesn't have garbage too, because they absolutely do. But there are those gems in High Dive, and this is one of them, where it is incredibly worth your time to watch it. And it is an experience that is incredibly unique. There's nothing like Rock is the Lazy Modesty. I just compared it to Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, but it is not the same experience as Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. The only thing that's similar about it is that it is an experience.
Well, what's funny is, in my headcanon, this, Jellyfish, and your boy Kongming are all in the same universe.
The High Dive musical shared universe, huh?
Yeah, maybe Oshinoko as well. It's like, because they could all coexist. They're all in relatively contemporary Japan. Nothing, aside from Kongming's time travel thing, nothing's that weird. And, I would love to see a little chibi collab show like that other one for this. I would also like to see the foodie crossover. Yeah, the musicians, or there's others we could do as well, I'm sure, especially if you go back to the glory.
We all would love to see crossovers. That's always the thing anime fans love.
Right, but also, if anyone wants to put it together, another thing would be like the foodie crossover with all Food Wars and all the other different food-focused shows. Campfire cooking and everything else.
That would be difficult because a lot of those lately have been isekai. That one would be trickier.
Who knows? Maybe it's like the multiversal cooking contest or something. Or,
my god!
Yeah, play up the stupid, and you don't need to explain anything.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it always comes down to rights on those things, whether or not they.
Right.
The reason they get away with it on Isekai Quartet is they all share a light novel publisher.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway,
so, that all aside,
go watch this.
Go watch it. It's a great experience. First of all, the music is great. Second of all, the characters are really compelling. We only went through them on a surface level. There's more we could talk about, really. But they really drive everything that happens. Drive is the story of this show. This show is all about drive. That drive to, follow your passion. And it's quite an experience. Definitely go check it out. But I think we've covered as well as we can for even if we finish the show. I don't know if we'll be able to cover more on this other than, where it ends.
That's why we're doing it now.
Yeah, that's exactly why we're doing it now. Like, even if we waited till it ends, we're like, this is how it is. But I think that'd be a disservice to it, honestly. So that is Raucous Lady's Modesty, an absolute gem in the High Dive catalog. Go check it out. Well, I guess it's that time, Ark. Why don't you tell us our YouTube shout out?
Our YouTube shout out is Drachinifel, who is the naval history guy on YouTube. He's a lifelong, I mean, he's actually a civil engineer by profession, or at least he was. He's a full-time YouTuber now because he lost his job during COVID, and he just pivoted right into the channel, which was already going gangbusters. But basically, he's I don't know how autistic he is. I'm pretty sure he's got an eidetic memory. Because he just knows things offhand, and if you ever watch one of his live Q&A things, he'll just, someone will ask him a question, he's like, well, they were there, and they were there, so then this, and then it's just insane to watch. There's just so many different things to be had from his channel. For example, if you like boats, there's like potted quick histories of lots of different ships from throughout history. I will say he doesn't go past 1945, with some very limited exceptions. Because he doesn't, while he knows about modern naval stuff, he doesn't like to talk about it because drama, which I totally understand. And then there's also more broad videos on everything from, how does this work? How does that work? How do logistics work? How does a triple expansion steam engine work? So there's a fair body of his work, LK, that I know you will have no interest in, like the really engineering, how do you forge armor plate, which my eyes glaze over. But there's quite a lot that I think you might be interested in. So basically, go through the playlists on his channel and just browse. And yeah. But if anybody out there who likes history, especially naval history, and somehow has not found this guy on YouTube, it started with him wanting naval history content on YouTube, and there really wasn't any worth spit. And this was before AI slop. And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And
sounds familiar.
Yeah, and he's amazing. So yeah.
Shout out to him. That. Always love to see someone create something that they, want to see that's not there. That is why this podcast exists. Yep. We didn't see anywhere where people talk about simulcast dubs, simuldubs, and that's why we're here, because we do it now.
Yep, that's why I agreed to this, because I think all the best content derives from people creating what they want to watch or play or whatever.
Yeah. We do our best to be a good guide to simuldubs. What's out there, what can you find, what's worth seeing, what's coming up, what we thought the best was after a season. And that's why we do things the way we do them. So yeah, I mad respect. It's always fun to see something like that.
Indeed.
All right. Well, it's time to close up the shop a little bit. Ark, where can the people find you?
Just plugging away at different things. One thing that I just found out that I do want to highlight is because if, like me, you play a lot of video games, you have to dig for good ones these days, because AAA is just done for. But there's still a lot of stuff out there, and Valve, in their very strange way, have been trying. And there's a new feature called, if you go into the Valve store and you go under recommendations, there's a thing to the right-hand side of the first couple called Your Personal Calendar.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Right. So it's, what's come out in the last month or so.
We're PC gamers, you guys.
And then, day by day, literally what's coming out. And so, I'd say once a week, just, check out what's coming out in the next week. And most of it's trash. But one thing that I saw that actually has a demo that I'm going to pick up on November 6th, so it'll probably have been out on early access by the time this goes live, is called The Last Caretaker, which is just another survival crafting thing, but you're a little robot, and at least in the demo, it's not well tutorialized, but after fucking around with it, and honestly, I was ready to write it off until I found the recycler, which is, all of a sudden I can power this thing up and the whole side comes down and there's these grrr thing. And then I'm like, let me put this thing into it. Grrr, and it spits out resources. I'm like, oh, you mean all this shit that's clearing the environment? I can, and then I'm
Sounds
having
like you
fun.
found a good game there, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
So basically, you're this, like, the last functional of these robots whose job is to sail around in a rust bucket ship, find humans or grow humans from samples or something, and then shoot them into space to continue humanity. I don't care. I'm looking forward to just fucking around with this for hours and hours and hours. So if that's what I found, go find your stuff.
I did find something. I looked to the past as I headed to the future to reclaim the digital world. Digimon Story Time Stranger. And I got to use the Digimon Frontier theme song to talk about it. Ha 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 ha. Best Digimon game ever, I swear to God. Digimon fans, we finally got one. It's a good one. It kind of plays like a Persona game.
Oh, okay.
It is so good. Story focused. My only complaint is the complaint I always have about Digimon games. I want my Digimon adventure. I want my Digimon. I don't want an army of Digimon. I want the one that's mine. But it's a video game, so I have an army of Digimon.
You have to use all of them, or can you just main one of them?
If you only have one of them, you are in an extreme tactical disadvantage. The game is balanced around you using a party. Again, it's like your Persona, or you have a small army of critters, basically.
Okay.
It in that way, it's like a Pokemon, and from everything I've heard,
because I mean, with
Pokemon
Persona,
entry.
there's just so many different ones. But like, are we talking like 6 optimally to focus on, or do you have to balance the whole army?
You don't have to balance the whole army. You ideally want 4.
Okay, that I can do.
It's
like an old school Final Fantasy game.
They're going to give you way more than that, and you'll be able to.
But you pick your 4 from that. That I can do.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot more and you might end up wanting to change one out eventually, depending on what your preferences are. And Digivolution is a thing. So the way you you get one starter in a sort of like a Pokemon. They give you a choice of 3. My Patamons, that's what I went with. Yeah, with my Patamon brothers. Digimon Adventure represent. I'm pulling a TK. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, how accessible is this to somebody who has no fucking clue about anything Digimon? And do not offer to show me stuff. Just if I was to pick up the game and play, being clueless, how lost would I be?
About as lost as I am, because it's completely its own thing.
Excellent. All right. I will probably pick that up when it's on sale.
I highly recommend it. If you want it on sale, you can actually get it for $60 right now on Green Man Gaming.
Yeah, that's for something I'm not sure about. That's not. That's an amazing
deal.
But yeah,
they're charging $70 because, of course, they are. But you can get it for $60 if you want it.
Yeah, $60 is fair retail price, so I'll wait for actual sale. But thank you.
I guess
still good to know. Still good to know.
What's interesting is how you get your Digimon is as you encounter them, you get a digitization rate for them. And then at 100% you can generate it, but you want to wait till it's at 200% to get maximum stats. Then you can generate them. As far as them Digivolving, every Digimon is unique. You could have 3 different Patamons and they'll be different because they have a personality system. The little critters are going to ask you questions, and based on the answers you give, that changes their personality. It does tell you by way of a symbol, but it's not hard to figure that out eventually, what your answers are going to shift them towards.
Oh no. You should my squad is going to be terrifying, horrible murder creatures.
Well, be careful, because that's how your Digivolution path, and they're not. It's not like the shows where it's one straight line. There are parallel paths based on the personality and your stats and all this other stuff. But you can always choose to digivolve. You can also eventually choose to de-digivolve if you want to try a different path. So it's very manage heavy, and it's good. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, well. The idea of having a little pack of murder hobos appeals to me. But
also, Ark, you'll love this. You have a gun where you literally could shoot the Digimon out of. We don't have Pokeballs. We literally get a gun and you shoot them out.
Excellent.
And you get a laser beam and then you shoot it.
And if all else fails, you go Persona 3. Persona.
Yes. So yeah, good stuff all around. I don't normally talk about games as much as you do, but this one, A, is probably relevant to Digimon fans, and B, it's actually totally worth it. Now, if you are a Digimon fan, it is a must-play. If you are not a Digimon fan, it is recommended if you have any interest. If you have no interest, I wouldn't bother with it. So yeah, I don't normally talk about games, but that one, it's got my full attention. I've had it for a couple of days. I've got 2 hours into it, which for me on an RPG, that's actually pretty good. I love RPGs, but I tend to play them for like 5 minutes and be done, and I'm not done with this one yet.
Okay.
But that's where I am in gaming. But of course, I actually have social media. So you can find me on Twitter at LaserKidPrime. You can find me on Blue Sky at LaserKid. And you can find me on the Toonami Faithful podcast, where I talk with friend of the podcast, Sketch, Kuro, and several other awesome people who we talk about Toonami with. So you can check me on that podcast whenever that comes out. We've been doing Tuesday a lot lately, so look forward to that, although that is probably going to be recorded live. We've been doing live recordings over there. The live recording will be before this episode comes out, almost certainly. But if you're listening to the podcast, probably a little after. As for the Simuldub Saints, you can find us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Simuldub Saints, and you can find the actual podcast, which you are listening to or watching here anyway, but we're on YouTube primarily. That is the main format, the video format. And then we also have the audio version on Spotify podcast, which also pushes out to several other audio formats that you may be listening on us to. So that's where we're at. Oh, and I should mention, we also have a Facebook group, which is linked both on the YouTube and Spotify podcast pages if you are so interested in following us on Facebook. So that is where we're at. Well, I guess that's a podcast. So until next time, catch you later.